All right. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. So, we'll be talking today about how you can gain more efficiency and elevate productivity within your accounts receivable department by leveraging technology to enhance the digital processes you may already have in place. I'm Nikki Sneed. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications here at Vectren, and I am thrilled to be your speaker for today. This webinar will be recorded and we will share the video and the slide presentation with all registrants this afternoon. To ensure the best recording, all participants are muted, but we still want to hear your questions and suggestions. If you have any of them, please feel free to pop them into the Q&A functionality at the top of the Teams window in the middle of the toolbar there. I hope to see many questions. I'm always willing to stop for them. So let's go ahead and get started with the presentation. So today we're going to be discussing the vital role that technology plays in optimizing digital accounts receivable processes and how businesses can overcome challenges posed by traditional systems and manual methods. Here's our agenda for today. We're going to start off by introducing ourselves, and then we'll get into talking about the benefits of optimizing your accounts receivable process. And yes, that includes diving into the abilities to upgrade and enhance the digital processes that you may already have in place. If you have some of these in place, as I'm sure many of you do, there are still a lot of ways that you can make them better. After that, we're going to dive into the challenges that come with traditional and manual AR processes. We'll dig into the disconnected communication and siloed systems, the common pitfalls of migrating to the cloud, and the cost associated with a lack of automation. And then finally, we'll dive into the learning curve associated with adopting new technologies, and we'll provide some tips on making the process smoother. At the end, we'll open it up for a Q&A session, and after that, we will share this recording, like I said, with anyone who registered. So let's start out with introducing Vectren. I'm sure many of you already know Vectren, but Daniela, we can hear you. Am I still cutting out?
Yes, a little bit. So sorry about that.
Okay, if that keeps happening, please let me know. All right, so we are a SaaS platform here at Vectren. We were founded on the principle that no B2B credit collections or AR department should be reliant on outdated manual paper-based processes. We were founded in 2010 with the goal of using the power of automation to make your lives as credit professionals easier. And today we're going to be talking about leveraging technology to make the entire order to cash cycle smoother, faster, and more efficient. And this is a really important topic for us because, as you just heard, that's literally our mission. That's the entire thesis we were founded on. Technology is a tool to make your life easier, and we want to help you take advantage of it. We'll do that today by talking through the best practices of digitizing your systems. Joining me today is Dhruv, one of our product and implementation leads. He's been with Vectren for over 4 years now. He spent his time helping our users develop models that replicate the decisions and criteria credit managers look at to determine a borrower's credit worthiness in an effort to speed up the decision-making process. So Dhruv specializes in working to understand common problems our clients face and turning those opportunities into products that alleviate pain points and operational bottlenecks. Dhruv, say hi and cover anything I missed.
Hey guys, Dhruv here. I'll be in the background. I'll let Nikki run the show over here. I'll be answering questions towards the end, but thank you, Nikki. That was a great introduction.
Perfect. For those of you that have not met me, I am Nikki. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications, and I'm here specializing in making sure that we're using the best strategies to get ahead of any challenges and lead product development head on, educating our users on what we have to offer and making sure that everyone knows how to get the most out of the platform. I'm also here, of course, to make sure that I'm handling all internal and external communications. So if there's anything new going on with our services, chances are I'll be the one to tell you about it. Let's actually dive in. So to begin, we're going to talk about why we're here. Why is optimizing digital accounts receivable so important? And why is making sure that you have updated your systems, even if you do have certain digital parts, making sure that you've updated the entire system to working together. Why is that so important? Why is it so crucial? Well, here are just a few of the key benefits that comprehensive digital solutions bring to the table. We'll break down some of these later, but this is a broad overview of what you can gain by really digitizing and then optimizing any digital processes you already have. Faster cash flow. So first and foremost, by streamlining and automating the accounts receivable process, businesses can expedite invoice processing and collections, resulting in faster cash flow. This improved cash flow enhances working capital and provides the financial flexibility needed to invest in growth opportunities. The second part of that is reduced operational costs. Of course, these go hand in hand. Every business wants faster cash flow because that just means that you can grow better, but you also want to find the ways to reduce operational costs. Digital optimization reduces manual tasks, minimizes paperwork, and eliminates errors, leading to cost savings. Automation can significantly reduce the need for manual intervention and the associated labor costs, allowing businesses to allocate resources more efficiently. And of course, that means that you can grow your business better and make the most out of your role when you are actually operating as efficiently as possible. That leads me to enhanced efficiency. Digital processes ensure smooth workflows and faster response times. Automated reminders and notifications help prompt customers for payment, reducing delays and overdue accounts. So this is crucial because what this does is leads to better customer satisfaction and improved relationships with clients. The more that they're able to see firsthand what is going on with their accounts, the happier that they're going to be, and you'll be able to see more comprehensively at a glance what's going on. Improved accuracy and compliance. Obviously, if the machine is going to be doing the data calculations for you, it is definitely going to be more accurate. Digital systems ensure accuracy by minimizing human errors in calculations and data entry. Additionally, they facilitate compliance with relevant regulations and industry standards, protecting the business from legal issues and penalties. Real-time insights. This is another really important one. You will need to be able to see at a glance how accounts are doing and the entire life cycle of them in real time with the most up-to-date information in order to make the most informed decisions. Digital accounts receivable processes that are truly comprehensive will provide that real-time visibility into outstanding invoices, payment trends, customer behaviors. These things empower you to make those more informed decisions, to identify potential risks earlier, and to dive in there and proactively address the collection challenges ahead of time. Everyone knows that the worst time to identify a problem is after it's already occurred. You want to catch it early and try to get in there and prevent it from happening again and causing more problems. This will lead to a better customer experience. Optimal digital processes offer customer-centric features like self-service portals and electronic invoicing, enabling the clients to access information and make payments conveniently. This enhanced customer experience fosters stronger relationships and encourages repeat business. This is just a simple fact. No one wants to operate blindly, not you, not your team, and especially not your customers. They want to know what's going on with their accounts, and having these real-time insights and giving them a customer-centric portal allows them to operate with the most information possible. It gives them that insight and transparency and builds that trust, which will then roll up to giving you a competitive advantage. B2B enterprises that optimize their accounts receivable processes gain a competitive edge. The ability to handle transactions swiftly and accurately, along with improved customer satisfaction, that is all going to add up to setting you apart in the marketplace. And that's also going to help you grow and scale. So talking about scalability, as businesses grow, digital accounts receivable processes can scale easily to accommodate increased transaction volumes and customer demands. This scalability ensures that the accounts receivable function remains efficient and effective even as the business expands. So basically, digital solutions are flexible enough to adapt to the change in your business, whether that be seasonality or rapid growth. These pieces of technology can scale as you scale without the additional friction of learning curves, growth problems, overhead costs, etc. Dhruv, did you have anything to add to this list?
No, you're good. That's a good list. Thank you.
All right. I want to make sure we're not missing anything here. I know we're throwing a lot of information at you, but really overall, optimizing digital accounts receivable processes, that is, again, I'm reiterating here, that's upgrading and optimizing your processes to digital, or taking the digital processes you have in place and just enhancing them a step further. It works either way, and it's essential to improve financial health, maintain operational efficiency, enhance customer relationships, sustain competitive edge. I mean, in today's fast-paced business landscape, the only way to stay ahead is to go ahead and adopt the technology and have it work for you. So let's talk about challenges, the challenges that you're facing right now with the manual processes that you have in place. So the reality is, the way things have always been done are rife with inefficiencies. Just because it's always worked doesn't mean it doesn't need an upgrade. Disparate systems and siloed thinking, tedious repetitive tasks, and immense learning curves all hold back AR and collection teams from ever gaining any ground. What do I mean by that? I mean that you aren't able to capture that competitive edge I mentioned in the last slide. You're literally just keeping your head above water if you are using these traditional systems. You're not actually gaining any ground. Disparate systems and siloed communication. So let's talk about disparate systems. Relying on disconnected systems and processes, it hinders efficiency so much. Performance and growth are held back by siloed and disparate systems because there's such a massive opportunity for errors and work falling through the cracks, not to mention redundancies. I mean, if you're all working in your own disparate processes, you don't know that someone else has already done the thing, and now you're over here doing the thing. So it leads to a lot of reworking the same things or missing out on communication. Teams working in different platforms or relying on different processes, they're not operating cohesively. And that's going to lead not only to friction within your teams, but also within the sales cycle, within the collections process, within your customer interactions, frankly, during the entire order to cash cycle. Everyone's working their own way. No one is rowing in the same direction, so to speak. And that just wastes time and resources, and it causes frustration among your employees, and it leads to customer dissatisfaction. Because face it, if you're all working differently, your customers are unfortunately getting either mixed messages or not enough information at all. Siloed communication is a direct parallel. Communication silos leave people uninformed and operating blindly. And as I mentioned earlier, no one wants to operate blindly. Not you, not your team, not your customers. When teams operate in isolation, information tends to stay within those teams and only within those teams. Updates, insights, crucial pieces of the process and protocol, those are all lost. And if collaboration happens at all, it's severely limited. All this adds up to a recipe for poor decision making. Like, frankly, how can you really make the most informed decisions for your company and your customers when you aren't fully informed? After that, we get lack of automation. This is really a huge challenge because the thing is, your time is incredibly valuable. Every task that is done in the same way multiple times can and should be automated task. Why? Because your time is too valuable to be spending on these manual processes that are costing you money. For every hour you're spending matching payments by hand, or every phone call that you have to make, you're not onboarding new customers, applying payments or extending new credit, or strategizing the best ways to take your team and your company to the next level. Then we get into tech learning curves. Now, this is one that's often a huge roadblock with adopting digital digital solutions. But the reality here is everyone seems a little hesitant at first, but if you think about it, every new process, be it tech-based or not, is going to have a learning curve. Acknowledging that up front removes some of that apprehension, and it will help in overcoming some of the resistance to the change that could be felt throughout your team. So the thing here is just really ensure that your team understands, there's going to be a learning curve, that, but you're taking steps to support them by implementing an effective, comprehensive training plan, and you're going to continue to support them and really lean into this. Lean into the fact that there's a learning curve, take advantage of it, and set the new system up the way that it should be. Take advantage of the opportunity to correct other common errors, make it the right way. Take advantage of this new time and make it the right way for your customers. Everyone's going to be learning a new system anyway. Why not go ahead and learn the whole thing? Make it all work for you. Another one that's not on here, but is something that a lot of companies run into when they start opting for digitization is they've run into like not planning properly for data security or not having a team to deal with integration issues or not complying with regulations and standards. So how do you prevent that? How do you work around that? Well, that's what we're going to get into next. How can companies avoid or at least navigate these challenges in order to become more efficient and productive? If you guessed the answer was technology, you would be correct. The answer is technology. But I'm going to say this very specifically. The way to do this is to strategically leverage the tech available. Notice I said that I said the word strategically very intentionally. You have to ensure that the platforms you're adding are enhancing the process, not creating another disconnected layer of complications or leading you directly into those pitfalls. This is something that we see often. A lot of people do end up adopting pieces of digitization, but they only adopt pieces that they look at and they think, oh, this is really going to enhance my system. And it probably will, but they're not looking at the bigger picture strategically. They end up adopting something that just becomes an additional step or an additional tool. It probably is making the process more efficient in some ways, but there's no way that it is truly increasing the optimal efficiency of the team because it's not connecting comprehensively with the entire system. That's why it's so crucial to look for truly end-to-end solutions with integration capabilities. We'll dive in a little bit later to what you should avoid looking for in order to prevent these pitfalls, but let's focus on the positive for right now. What should you be looking for? How should your technology be working for you? Whether you have some digital solutions already, or are looking for more, or are looking for any at all, what should you be looking for to truly get the most out of it? Well, first, you should definitely seek out and embrace cloud solutions. Cloud-based platforms are crucial for growth because, like I mentioned earlier, they scale with you easily without any additional overhead. They're designed to be flexible, and they easily expand or contract based on your specific growth needs or your seasonal sales cycle. And with the advances in encryption and security, with cloud, you won't have to worry about your customers' personally identifiable information or their financial data. All of that is built in. In fact, cloud solutions are more secure because they provide digital backups and redundancies to compensate for natural disasters or power outages. But the thing is, when migrating to the cloud, or really to any digital environment, it's critical to plan ahead and adequately prepare. So I'm going to give you a few of the best practices when you are looking for cloud or really any digital solutions. And the first and most important one is do your research ahead of time. There are a lot of solutions out there. There are a lot of disparate solutions. There are a few comprehensive solutions for certain aspects. There are even fewer truly end-to-end platforms. Look at the whole playing field and really research what's going to be the best for your company and for your needs, and try to find something that gives you the most comprehensive, real-time look into the entire life cycle of your customer accounts. Make sure that it's providing you with something that's going to let your team work together. Know everything that's out there and find the best one for you. Second, have dedicated experts at your disposal. The thing is, you are an expert in credit, collections, in finance, your industry. But there are people out there who are experts in these platforms. That is what they live and breathe. Take advantage of their knowledge, learn from them, use their history, and have them as a resource. You use that resource and make sure that you are really learning all the benefits, all the pros and cons, all of the effects. Make sure that you're learning everything that it offers to truly take advantage of the entire platform. If you purchase something thinking that it will help you with collections, it may also help you with the credit initiation part of it. Look and make sure that you're taking advantage of the entire platform that you're paying for. Also, validate security and establish data protection protocols. So that is step 3 of your best practices. I said earlier, and it's completely true, the advances in encryption and security, cloud solutions come with their own security, and they come with them standard. But just because it is standard procedure doesn't mean that it's exactly what you need. It doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. Make sure that you are establishing the unique, customized data protocols that work for your industry and for your company. And again, leverage those experts to either build or find what you don't have. The same goes for step number 4, ensuring compliance. You want to make sure that whatever tool you find will meet the compliance requirements that you have. And again, do your research, leverage those experts, build out what you don't have. 5, monitor that performance. So that is probably the most important one. Once you've implemented a digital solution, monitor it. Keep looking at it and tweak what's not working until it's the most efficient process that it can be. That's probably the most important and yet most overlooked step of this, is going back in there. Just because you've adopted it doesn't mean there aren't areas that could be improved. If you lined out the entirety of your order to cash cycle from start to finish and highlighted each friction point, where would they be? Catch them early, go ahead and fix them. Just always be optimizing. That's the most important thing there. So moving on to the next big topic of what you're looking for when you're going out and finding these digital solutions, look for integrated software that's really going to streamline your processes. Make sure it doesn't add an extra step. Make sure that it's elevating and taking you to the next level, not putting a stumbling block in front of your team. Look for software that's going to facilitate seamless communication and break down those silos by integrating with various systems. A truly comprehensive platform should provide you with the ability to easily see a customer's account history, recent payments, credit rating, aging profile, more. I mean, you should be able to look in there and it should act as a central repository for all the data that on that business account, and it should keep all the documentation that you or anyone on your team need at the touch of a button so that you can see easily everything that you need to, everything about the customer's account at large. And you should also look for customizable dashboards. This is going to be really important because not all metrics are created equal, and you're going to measure things that are telling you the most comprehensive picture. Next, look for something that's equipped with powerful third-party integrations so that you'll be able to more easily pull all the information you need in without having to leave the platform. This one is really important because if you're looking for a past invoice, it should be easily available within the platform and part of the customer's account. If you're ready to apply cash on an outstanding balance, you should be able to do it directly within the platform and have the account updated in real time. If the payment is outstanding, you should not have to pick up the phone to call your customer, but should instead have a platform that either makes that call or sends that text message or sends that email for you and then records it for tracking purposes. The technology should be working for you and at the same time updating regularly so that you have the latest information at your disposal right when you need it. Similarly, you need to implement automation at every possible opportunity for efficiency gains. I said this earlier, but with the technology available to us now, there is simply no reason for anyone to be manually checking for, monitoring, or releasing order holds for or working in numerous platforms to resolve settlements and disputes. There's just no reason for that. Your time is really valuable, and you should be using it for more valuable things like customer interactions. Platforms like Vectron can be customized to your specific business parameters, and it will automatically handle tasks like this and more, leaving you with more time for those high-level growth strategies. For example, I'll give you a tangible example here. With our order hold management solution, you would no longer need to spend your time reviewing and releasing the request. You would instead just oversee and approve it, which would increase productivity, but still give you that level of insight of all the processes happening under your purview to make the most informed decisions. So here's hard numbers for you. It takes, we've done the study on this, and the fastest possible time that a human being can review, approve, and release an order hold is 4 minutes. It takes a machine 4 seconds. So just imagine at scale what that means, all that time saved. You need a piece of technology that is going to do that for you, that is going to work with you to take your team to the absolute peak of your efficiency. Even if you are operating at the fastest pace that a human possibly can, you're still never going to reach peak efficiency if you're not taking advantage of the technology that you have available, because the machines can always do those manual things faster. So next, you're also looking for a solution that comes with resources to help overcome and address those learning curves I mentioned earlier. Find a provider that offers resources for upskilling and continuous improvement within the platform. There are many places out there that provide support and user communities to reinforce adoption of the technology. A comprehensive vendor will have a culture of continued learning and support, and that's what you want to look for. Someone that's going to help you and your team make the most of that platform that you're adopting. And speaking of support, you also want to pay close attention to customer success and support provided by the platforms and partners you're looking at. Some platforms like will do this. They'll have dedicated product experts assigned to your business so that if you ever need any additional help, you have a single point of contact easily available for you. That's really important for some companies. It's not as important for other companies. Make sure that that's something that you're addressing early. Find out what you need, what works for you, and look at the places out there and what levels of support they provide. Do they have 24-hour tech support? Do they have support for your already spread thin IT teams? Are they there to help you if you have a question? Make sure that that's something that you're really looking for and adding those additional resources and training opportunities. So let's get into the next step, key tips. If you want to truly upgrade your AR department and get the most out of your processes, you need all 10 of these takeaways. And don't get me wrong, many of you have already implemented some of these or have processes that incorporate parts of these, but all of them are crucial. First, real-time reporting and analytics. I mentioned this a little bit earlier. This is incredibly pivotal for you to make the most up-to-date and informed business decisions. You need to be able to see the entire life cycle at a glance of all your accounts and your customers. If you can't view the account comprehensively in real time, you'll never be able to truly know your exposure or make the most informed decisions for those accounts. For example, if you were looking at a customer's record and they're asking for an extension on their payment terms, but you can't see that historically they've paid every month on time for the last 2 years, you could risk rejecting a perfectly valid request from a good customer and losing that customer. And the flip side of that is also true. If a customer came asking for an extension on their payment terms and you couldn't see that, as a matter of fact, they've actually always requested extensions or been historically late or their DSO is extremely high, you could risk giving them an extension and then increasing your own average, your own metrics, and risking your company higher exposure. Electronic invoicing and payments, the next one. So this is probably the one that most of you already have, or at least have part of. I mean, pretty much everyone has electronic or digital invoices these days, but the most important part here is making sure that these e-invoices work seamlessly within your platform. A digital invoice does nothing if the payments still have to be manually entered and the invoices have to be reconciled by hand. If they're not stored in a central repository, if they are still just acting as digital versions of your paper applications, they're not actually gaining any efficiency. The entire payment cycle, from invoices to payment to a cash application even, needs to be all done within the same environment so that the account is up to date, is updated automatically, and is always reflecting the most accurate information. Workflow and automation and task management. I touched on automation earlier, but I'm talking about it again. I will keep talking about it. It's incredibly important. You need to automate every piece of the workflow that is repeatable. Your time is highly valuable. You should not be spending it on the minutia. And if you have a system that is applicable, is adaptable, and can replicate your unique process, use it. Take advantage of it. Similarly, machine learning for predictive analysis. With the technology available now, we have the ability to see more data than ever before. But we as humans can only process, review, and parse so much data. Machines do not have those limitations. Machine learning can help us humans parse massive stacks of unending data that would take us years, and the machines can pull out patterns that the human eye may miss instantaneously. And in fractions of a second, the machines have already seen what would take us days. So this means that you would have a better chance of predicting trends and sales cycles and preparing for them. Similarly, robotic process automation. If you aren't delegating repetitive, monotonous tasks, you're not ever going to operate at peak efficiency. It's just a reality because machines are able to process data and complete actions so much faster than humans ever could, and with a higher accuracy rate. And this is a good thing. Remember what I said earlier about the difference between it taking 4 minutes for a human to release an order hold and 4 seconds for a machine. That means that you get to live more in the focusing on the predictive analysis I mentioned earlier, or focusing more on the high level trends. You're getting to focus on what comes from that data instead of being bogged down in the data itself, which is just going to lead to better customer relations, higher customer retention, finding friction points earlier, all around a smoother system. Similarly, integration with ERPs, Enterprise Resource Planning System. So this one is really huge. You need to access all the historical data for your customer accounts, and you need to be able to access it easily. That means not having it in a different platform that you have to log into, or in a cloud storage system like Dropbox, for example, where you would have to search for file names and hope you get the name correctly. You don't need any of that. That's also a waste of your valuable time. You need everything to be in the platform that you're already in, and you need them all attached to the customer's account so you can easily see the entire customer account at a glance. That means that you are going to need, though, to find a platform that integrates into your established ERP, and ideally one that comes with plenty of that platform support to help your IT team get everything working smoothly. Electronic document management. So this one is similarly to the ERP integration. If you're going to have all of these historical documents in the platform, you are going to need an extensive secure storage system for the digital files. The best way to upgrade your receivables process is to have everything you need in one system, one centralized, easily accessible ecosystem for every credit, collections, and AR process and department in your company. If you want true efficiency, you have to break down those silos between your teams and have one comprehensive environment that everyone is living in. Next, mobile apps for on-the-go access. This one is really big for the customer experience. You need to meet your customers where they are, and where they are is constantly on the move. We've spoken with many of the businesses that use Vectron, and we've learned that their customers are far more likely to submit applications and payments and check the status of their account and pay invoices on their smartphones. So if you don't already have a mobile app for your users, you need to build one out immediately to increase usability and improve that customer satisfaction. Data visualization and dashboards. So this one's similar to the real-time reporting that I started out with. It also goes hand in hand with predictive analysis. You should have a dashboard or customizable reporting feature that allows you to see trends and status at a glance. Businesses live or die by the data, especially financial data. So do yourself a favor and get out of the manual spreadsheets and instead automate all the data collection and work from those visual representations on easily digestible and shareable dashboards. You'll be so much better positioned to see the trends and start predicting rather than reacting. Finally, customer self-service portals. Studies have shown that buyers are far happier when their partners, vendors, and service providers provide the ability to see what's happening with their account, and when they feel that they have some control over their account. We as humans want to be able to go in and pay our bills on our terms and in our time. It's human nature. So having a self-service portal that meets your customer where they are just makes sense. Make sure that you have a portal that is built with your customers in mind, is user-friendly and intuitive for them, and offers them options like paying via whichever method works for them, and shows them a dashboard of their account balance and most recent payments and invoices. I said earlier, no one wants to operate blindly, and your customers least of all. So give them a tool that they can use to have some control over their accounts. And that's it for this session. I would love to open it up and hear any questions or really just any statuses that you have on your current process here. What are the areas in your current process that you think need enhancement? Do you have areas of friction that either we discussed or we didn't discuss that you just want to talk out? What specific challenges and concerns have you had when it comes to digitizing receivables? If anyone has anything, I would love to see, go ahead and pop it up into the Q&A. This will be our question and answer time. All right. Dhruv, I will ask you this question. How long does it typically take to transition to a digital AR system?
Yeah, that's a great question, Nikki. Honestly, it depends on the complexity of your operations. But we have done pretty much small, medium, and large digital transformations, anywhere from 3 months to about 8 months, depending on if all teams are cooperating in timely fashion. It also depends on the breadth of data that has to be migrated over. So if you are mid-migration, of course, you start from the scratch and everything. So that does take in time, but the most of the low-hanging fruit, as we call it, or just the quick wins, can be used in the platform from the get-go. So meaning you can use the platform standalone without having any migration of data. So time to value is really quick. So if you do choose to go down that path, it should take less than 2 months, I would say.
Great answer. We have another question for you. So what is the learning curve for new users in your experience? And do you offer training sessions?
Yeah, that's another good question. The learning curve, honestly, it starts off steep, given that it's a new platform. It's a completely new way of operating. However, it does seem to plateau over time, given the fact that everyone is in the industry, they're industry professionals. Getting used to a new platform should not be all that hard at that point in time. And yes, Background does provide extensive training, both in terms of materials, recordings, group trainings, and all of that stuff. So, and we're always available to support. So if you run into a snag at any time, you can reach out to our support. It's 24 hours, and they're quite responsive.
All right. We've got one more. Are there key performance indicators specific to digital AR that companies should be monitoring? Any that you recommend?
Yeah. It's another good question. Actually, the most common of that would be just time taken. So time taken between systems or between processes. A way to measure that would be how much time that you did spend on your incumbent process, which you're doing today, versus the time it takes to accomplish the same task within a platform like Backtran. The others would also be speed of action, which is if it took you a certain amount of time to get data or post data to a certain interface, uh, how that was done before without a SaaS tool like Backtran, and what was how long it took with a SaaS tool like Backtran. Of course, there are a lot of arbitrary factors as well. In the middle, we're putting a price on time here, so that's always hard. But these are the overarching metrics that I would say from the get-go, at least one should be tracking, and then you'll be able to see basically the return on investment from a SaaS tool.
Great. So one just final question for you, Dhruv. Is there anything that you would add to this list? These takeaways that we've talked about, the challenges that we've talked about, everything that we've talked about today, is there anything that you would add or anything that you find most important that you think needs to be reiterated?
Yeah, actually, nothing to add, but just to reiterate one of the points that you had on, which was when you are embarking on a journey for a tool like either a SaaS tool like Vectran or any digitization for that matter, it is really important to do your research, right? So every company's needs are different. Of course, there is a baseline for the order to cash industry, but every company or every internal process has their nuances. And so there's never a one size fits all solution out there, or at least what we have seen so far. And so doing your research is imperative, right? So what fits your process and your people best should be at the top of your concern list.
Fantastic. Well, we'll wrap it up there today. Thank you all so much for attending today's webinar on gaining efficiency within the digital accounts receivable department. Gaining efficiency in your process is crucial for your company. These increases in productivity translate into improved operational agility, financial stability, customer satisfaction, and strategic capabilities, all of which contribute to the long-term success of a business. From reducing DSO to providing strategic insights, the technology we have available now can take your organization to the next level. So we highly recommend exploring the various solutions and platforms available with these best practices and suggestions in mind, especially the research and know what's out there suggestion. Find the platform that works the best for your specific processes and your unique business needs. That is really the key takeaway. And you'll start seeing the benefits immediately. Thank you all again for your time and attention. If you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to contact us here at Vectran. This is our contact information, and of course, we have many resources available on our website. This presentation has been recorded. We had a few little tech issues, but the video and the slide deck will be shared with everyone who registered. Thank you all, and we hope to see you again next month. Bye.
Thank you, Nikki. Have a good one, guys.